Because as we all know, elections matter. And when folks vote, they order what they want, and in this case, they got what they asked for. I went off script a little bit.
And more Americans say they are struggling to pay their bills today than 6 months ago. In our recent poll, more than half of the people, this is out this morning, say they are concerned about their ability to pay for everyday essentials like gas and groceries.
Now, the polls show Americans deeply pessimistic about the economy. Inflation's only going to rise with what's happening on the energy front. What do you attribute to that? What can he do to turn this around?
Well, I think tonight's going to be very important because for people to appreciate what the president has done and that working together with the Congress, they have to know what it is. President Lincoln said public sentiment is everything. With it, you can accomplish almost everything. Without it, practically nothing. But people have to know for public sentiment to...
You have an international, incident like we're having, and it runs costs up. It can make everybody, pretty angry and put you in a bad mood. Notwithstanding that this president has done a spectacular job in the last year shepherding this country.
Will there be anything in the speech to talk about reversing some of those policies? For example, either Keystone Pipeline or allowing our oil and gas companies to pursue federal oil and gas leases, even while we try to transition in the future and with a smart path to greener energy?
Well, I would say, Dana, the president shares the concern about any impact on gas prices, on energy prices for the American people. And that's why a range of options remain on the table. He already recently tapped into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve just last fall, which had an impact. But I would say the Keystone Pipeline.
But the impact, Jen, that was a blip. It was a 10-cent thing, but it doesn't last.
But, Dana, the policies you mentioned, I know Senator Cotton and others have mentioned these, they are not policies that would address the issue at all. This Keystone Pipeline, it would take years for that to have an impact on prices.
I mean, when Joe Biden came into power over a year ago and immediately throttled down American energy, said no more oil and gas leases, shut down our pipelines, shut down our production, it took much of our energy offline. And it makes us dependent. It makes the rest of the world dependent on Russia. Fact of the matter, right now, Americans are suffering through runaway inflation.
What would you like to hear tonight? What do you expect to hear tonight?
Well, what I'd like to hear, I won't hear, and that is the president announcing that America is going to get back into the business of aggressively producing oil and natural gas and exporting it as well, becoming a player in the global market, that he's going to roll back some of these restrictions that they've put in place on natural gas, on new exploration in Alaska and in Texas on production, that our goal is to get back to that early 2020, late 2019 production aims and metrics that we were hitting, and that we're going to do that in conjunction with a gradual reduction and ultimate elimination of imports of Russian oil. I'd love to see him say it. I don't think he can or will, because the radical left wing of his party would go nuts. They would go bonkers if he did that.
Of this, what is the stance of the U.S. in buying Russian gas at this point? At this point, are we ready to pledge not to buy any more Russian gas?
Well, as you know, it's really. Let me give you actually kind of an update on this, because I think there's been a little confusion. One moment. So as it relates to Russian gas, U.S. government doesn't dictate where the U.S. market sells our own oil and gas products, nor where it acquires crude or refined products for domestic consumption. This is all up to the private sector, other than exceptions like countries under sanctions.
So can you just explain, though, what you laid out at the beginning? Because I'm a little bit unclear. You just in layman's terms, we are not going to be making any policy from the U.S. government that would prohibit the sale or the purchase of Russian gas, then, because it's not something that we already do?
We haven't ruled out that, but I think what I wanted to convey is what is accurate about what happens now and how it currently works.
But we lift all those restrictions on the production of American oil and gas, so we can start drilling on federal lands again and putting out new leases, so we can reopen the Keystone Pipeline, which would bring more oil into America every day from Canada than we import every day from Russia.
President open to those proposals?
I would say that the congressman's recommendations there, the Keystone Pipeline was not processing oil through the system. That does not solve any problems. That's a misdiagnosis, or maybe a misdiagnosis of what needs to happen. On oil leases, what this actually justifies, in President Biden's view, is the fact that we need to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, on oil in general, and we need to look at other ways of having energy in our country and others. One of the interesting things, George, we've seen over the last week or so is that a number of European countries are recognizing they need to reduce their own reliance on Russian oil.
And more concerning for Joe Biden and for Democrats generally is if you look at our latest poll out today, the percentage of voters saying that they will vote for Republicans in the midterm elections is at the highest level that we have seen since 2010. And you know what happened in 2010. 2010 is when Republicans won 63 seats and swept in control of the House in the Tea Party wave. So Biden needs to change the trajectory. He needs to acknowledge the challenges and present some kind of a vision that shows that he has a plausible plan for dealing with the challenges facing the country.
The 21st century. Hence, he obviously proposed an immigration bill on his first day in office. And beyond that, he has taken steps to protect DACA recipients, ended the Muslim ban and the public charge rule, put together the Family Reunification Task Force, restarted the Central American Minors Program that the previous administration ended, extended our newly designated temporary protected status for a number of countries, and worked with DHS to give clear guidance for internal enforcement. That we have also been very clear about our view on the MPP program and very clear on our view about the inhumanity of the prior administration and how they handled immigration, and that we had every intention of implementing a different approach.